This video is on continuous motion and how it applies on drives to the basket. Are the players in the following clips in the act of shooting during their drives to the basket? Is this player in the act of shooting when fouled? Was this player in the act of shooting when fouled? How about this player? Was he in the act of shooting when fouled? Continuous motion. By rule, continuous motion applies to any try or tap, but does not come into play unless there is a foul by the defense during the interval that starts when the habitual throwing movement begins and ends when the ball is clearly in flight. So what is a continuous motion foul? It is a foul that is committed by the defense after the offensive player has begun the act of shooting. It can be any defensive player. It doesn't have to be a foul committed against the shooter itself. And when does it begin? It begins as soon as the offensive player starts the motion that results in the release of the try. The continuous motion rule defines what customary movements are permitted. By rule, the player is permitted to complete the customary arm movement, and if pivoting or stepping when foul, may complete the usual foot or body movements while holding the ball. These privileges are granted, of course, only if the usual throwing motion has started before the foul occurs and before the ball is in flight. So what kind of movements are covered? Arms, feet, and body while holding the ball. So how does this apply to drives to the basket? Well, after the dribble has ended, all movements of arms, feet, and body are part of the customary and habitual movements that precede the release of the ball. So this means that the try for goal during a drive to the basket starts on the floor. It is important to note that in some cases, the foul may prevent the release of the ball. This does not mean the player was not in the act of shooting. Let's look at those play clips. In the first play, number 2 drives to the basket and is fouled. Was this a continuous motion play? As we can see in the slow motion replay, number 2 ends her dribble before the blocking foul occurs. So number 2 was fouled while in the act of shooting. She is entitled to 2 free throws. As a matter of procedure, the ruling official did a good job of indicating the nature of the foul at the spot of the foul. However, she should also have indicated that number 2 is entitled to 2 free throws before she went to report the foul. Let's look at the second play. Is this a continuous motion play? As we can see in slow motion, in this play, number 14 in black commits a blocking foul just after number 24 has picked up her dribble. Therefore, number 24 is in the act of shooting. This is a continuous motion foul. Number 24 is entitled to 2 free throws. The ruling official did a good job in identifying that the foul was in the act of shooting and in signaling such before he went to the table to report the foul. Good communication like this allows his partners to immediately set up for the ensuing free throws. Let's look at the third play. Is this a continuous motion play? As we can see in the slow motion replay, number 14 has picked up his dribble before the foul by the red center. However, in this case, number 14 tells the officials he is not shooting by passing the ball to number 10. Therefore, this is not a continuous motion play. Because the team is in the bonus, number 14 will attempt bonus free throws. To summarize, on dribble drives to the basket, customary movements that are part of the act of shooting begin when the dribble ends. Such movements will include stepping and jumping. A player can always show us he is not shooting by passing the ball.